Hello, welcome back to Making Money Manageable with Alan Dembski and Juliana Jansen from Buffalo First Wealth Management. Today, we got a great topic for teachers. As we're wrapping up spring break here and heading into the summer, we thought it would be a great time to address teachers and some of the things that they should be looking for to clean up their classroom as we head into the summer break.
Yeah. And I think one of the first places to start is to look at your cash flow. Some teachers are paid throughout the summer, and some teachers, their paycheck actually stops during the summer. So now, while we still have a little bit of time before the school year ends, this is a good time to figure out what your run rate is from a cash flow perspective. If you aren't going to be paid, what is your savings amount that you're going to be utilizing throughout the summer? And I think it's just a good opportunity to, in general, look at what's coming in and what's going out and what adjustments need to be made.
Oh, absolutely. And especially if people have side gigs in the summer, some people pick up different districting or summer substitute teaching jobs. So take a look at that as far as cash flow too, what you did last year and what's projected for this year as well when going through the cash flow. Oh,
Especially if those side gigs are not withholding
oh
taxes.
yeah.
That's definitely something to keep track of. We just got through tax season, and some of our clients had some surprises based on side gig revenue. So that's a good opportunity to just make sure that you're putting that money aside.
Yeah, and especially if it's 1099 income, that then you have the self-employment tax on there as well that could eat away at any tax return that you might have. Also, now's a good time. Some usually at the beginning of the year, you get your pension. If you're in New York State, the New York State pension booklet. It's really a good time to review your service hours. I was with a client a week or so ago, and we were discussing her time frame of working for two different districts, and it appears one of the districts is not showing up on that booklet. So we've had the conversation of making a phone call to the New York State Teachers Retirement System to make sure that everything's coordinated, that she can get credit for the service that she missed. Luckily, it hasn't been that long, and it won't be that hard to find or go back that far for those details. Also, review the beneficiaries. Um, Another case I've seen is somebody's gotten married since they started with a school district or in the system, and their parents are still the beneficiaries on their account. Well, certainly, if something happened to them, their parents would be grateful for the money, but certainly their spouse would be more grateful for those cash flows. And also, too, people don't realize that there is a death benefit on your pension. The amount of money you make, generally it's 2 to 3 times your salary is your death benefit through the state. However, that's generally not enough if you have a family, or if you have responsibilities. Usually 2 to 3 times is not enough for the life insurance benefit.
Yeah, especially if someone passes away young.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of along those lines, looking at your 403B that you have, it's probably a good time, maybe if not now, then when the summer happens, when maybe you have a little bit more time, to just see whether or not how you're invested aligns with the current market conditions and what your risk tolerance is. And what a lot of teachers don't know is that you have choices in terms of the company that you can invest your 403B with. That's a surprise to a lot of teachers
Mm-hmm.
that I talk to. And that's definitely something at Buffalo First we can help you with if you want to parse through what the options are. But it's probably a good time once the summer starts to look at that just to make sure that you're investing the percentage that you want to be investing, and that the money, once it's in the 403B, is invested along with what your goals and desires are in terms of risk.
And on that same front, I always try to talk to teachers too. In New York, anyways, they do get a small cost of living increase on an annual basis. Is to sometimes take some of that increase and just like we would with any other client, actually, is if you get a salary increase, why don't you put a little extra into your retirement, your additional retirement accounts? Because your retirement, when you get 60%, is not 100%. So you might need some extra money to dip into in retirement. Also, coordinating benefits with spouses. I've seen all too often is we have two people that are in a school, separate school districts, and they're carrying similar benefits without weighing the options of maybe we should one district has better dental insurance. So we're going to be on dental and maybe some extra benefits with one school district and then the health insurance with another. So really coordinating benefits with your spouse. I know open enrollment for most places are at the end of the year. However, it's a good time to review that because you're going to get busy again in the fall. Is to review that now, so as that time comes, you don't have to spend a lot of time in the fall reviewing those things.
Yeah, definitely. It is a tough time. It's the holidays, and a lot of times people just get the forms filled out quickly, and that's certainly understandable. We've all been there,
Yeah.
speaking from experience. And the last thing that we wanted to mention is there is a change that came via the One Big Beautiful Bill legislation that was passed in 2025. And that change actually increases the amount that teachers can deduct for the expenditures that they make for their classroom. This also extends to coaches that are coaching. There is a 900-hour requirement. You need to be working 900 hours in your job if you're a part timer, but this can definitely help teachers defray the cost. A lot of teachers spend a lot of money on
Mm-hmm.
keeping their classroom running. And then if the teacher is an itemizer, and this is a good time to look at your tax return to see, did you itemize or did you use the standard deduction? If you did itemize, then the One Big Beautiful Bill gives an additional amount on top of that 350 that you can itemize or that you can deduct the expenses that you incur for your classroom. So it's a nice little boost. I don't know what percentage of teachers itemize, but it's definitely something to think about. And now it's probably a good idea to keep in mind you do want to keep those receipts. So anything that you're spending, just throw it in a folder and keep those receipts so that those can be handy when it's filing time for next year.
Absolutely. That's why, like, this time of year is very important to review your taxes and see where you stand and if it's going to make a difference for you or not. With the One Big Beautiful Bill, they expanded the SALT, so some people are itemizing again. You just have to look at your particular tax situations. We're not tax professionals. We're not giving you advice, but certainly review that and take a look at your personal situation. If you need any help with that, certainly leave us a comment or send us a message on all our social media platforms. And stay tuned for our next video.